Welcome to Elevated Wisdom, where we transcend and go beyond the subconscious. Welcome to Elevated Wisdom, where we transcend and go beyond the subconscious.
And we are live once again with another wonderful episode of Elevated Wisdom. What's going on, people? Oh, wait, why can't I? Of course.
Here we go.
You know what I mean? If anyone, no, the mic is good. PC. Let's see, why can I not hear you say something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, we can hear. Okay. We're good. We're good. We got a mod in the house. We got... everything's working. Yeah, here we go. All right, so today, let me see, we're going to be talking about holidays. And although most of the time we look at holiday season as a wonderful time, spending time with family, we often forget that the holiday seasons are also filled with hard times, and mental health can take its hits during these wonderful periods of family time and celebration and whatnot. And so, to shed light on that, we're having today's episode on that, the how it looks like the struggles that we go through during the holiday seasons, where normally it's about cheer and connection and family and all this stuff, and we find ourselves in some negative thoughts or negative behaviors. And how do we come out of that? How do we help ourselves through that? And the conversation is going to continue and branch off of there. So, like usual, we're going to start up with this video that is been brought to you by none other than Manon Affiliates. And I'm going to put a link on chat. So here we're going to check this out first. Let me see. Okay, so...
today's world, it's more important than ever to prioritize human connection. Make an effort to nurture your relationships with family, friends, and even volunteer your time to help others. Here are a few quotes that bring us in tune with life in a way that's almost impossible to describe. Scale up your love. Why only love one person when you can fall in love with the whole universe? Sadhguru. Isvara is the Sanskrit word for pure awareness, and is represented by the sound of Om, the universal vibration that connects us all. Patanjali. The business of business is relationships. The business of life is human connection. Robin Sharma. In essence, human connection is not just a social need, but an inherent part of our human nature. It shapes who we are, how we live, and the kind of world we create. This is Mananan Affiliates, reminding you that connection allows us to thrive and flourish. In today,
I like that. That's the one you were talking about. The business of business. Say that again? I gotta
It's
hear
about relationships, but the business of life is about human connection.
that. Oof. That hits different in so many levels. What does it speak to you? Let's begin there.
I mean, 13 years ago, that's what we kind of talked about was there wasn't much human connection. People knew each other, but it was very superficial.
Hmm.
There was no real connection where there's that trust and respect and empathy.
Hmm.
You know,
Most definitely.
so I think that's why that particular one right there hits for me because like it hit on a topic that I mean obviously we're still dealing with to this day, but I do
Hmm.
believe a lot of people are starting to pivot from material things to being connecting more. I think people are trying to make an effort to do that, which is great. I think it's necessary,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I agree. I definitely is although all connection is human connection in some form, not all of it may be the healthiest for all of us. And so as we continue to evolve through time, is how do we ensure that the human connection stays as healthy as possible and not forget the organic forms as we continue to evolve, although we have technology and text messages and well, we went from first was that telegrams, and then we went to the mail, and then we as now we got instant communication. We still forget the organic communication that is by just sitting in silence, that loudness of that communication when you can sit in silence with somebody that you care about or multiple people, right, in a meditation state of just acceptance, or the connection of what it feels like to be productive outside in nature, building something together, despite the differences. And so all of this, I definitely agree with you, and it's important, and it hits key with mental health during the holidays, right? Because um, now I feel like most holidays we're focused on the consumer part of aspect of things, or the flashy things, what did we get each other, what did we do for each other, where are we meeting, where are we
Hmm.
going, rather than the original, I guess, purpose of just getting together, being thankful, the organic things, right? And why, although we have all these great things and family reunions and this and that, some of us can find ourselves in a negative state of mind. With all that goodness, how can people find themselves depressed during the holidays? Well, it's very easy. You can have all the material things in the world and completely be unhappy. That is very, very possible. And so it's a good
I
reminder
agree.
for me. Yeah. Um,
So,
Go ahead.
with us talking about this, what have you been struggling with? I'd say over this month or in the last week or so.
Well, definitely. I guess we can narrow down for this month for the holidays, right? But overall, in the holiday season, for me, I struggle a lot with survivor's guilt, in the sense of it's like, oh well, all these great people are not here. They could have been here, and I get focused on how sad it is that I don't have certain people in my life, or certain people that I know or believe that they deserve to live and be experiencing this thing we called life are no longer here. Things like that, or things that, although I feel like I've let go from the past, I see that I still manifest in some ways in today's world. Like, for example, I can think of an ex and be like, oh, I could wish I could have not made those mistakes with this one ex. It could have been this, and it could have been that, and she was so good, or he was so good, and this and that, and I could make a wonderful memory about something that I shared with somebody on how now I can't I will never find somebody like that. I missed my chance. And, it can just really
Yeah.
easily go downhill in a negative
Gonna be
aspect.
even better, my buddy. Gonna be even better.
Exactly. So, it varies depending on the season, depending on what's going on. But ultimately, because of the trauma that I've experienced in the past, I can see where now I project certain emotions that I still reserve or feel entitled to feel, and project them into situations that I have today. For example, I share this unique outlook that veterans have that abused drugs, alcohol, been in and out of institutions, and been looked at in a negative perspective as useless of why is he even bother with these people and they're helpless and stuff like that. And so this holiday season I struggled directly with knowing other veterans are going through that now, and although I am nowhere near that lifestyle anymore and my life has turned around tremendously, I take on the hate that they receive and place it upon myself. And I truly felt bad this holiday season because I took another veteran's experience and how he has been an absentee father and how he's fucking up in so many ways. It reminded me of my situation, and I almost allowed my emotions to get to a negative state where I could have ruined the holiday season for the family. I could have gone in there with my negativity and been very, very angry and all these other things, but instead powered through and allowed myself to, when the proper time came around with the right person, I was able to vent out and let all that stuff and cry and, feel like, yeah, I'm exactly like this and this is where I'm at. And it took for me to say all these things, though, although I know it's not true, I wanted to say, I needed to get out. Like, I am a piece of shit and I am a horrible dad and I am all these things because I wanted to say him out. I wanted to believe him. But then after I say them out loud, I had somebody there that I trust in their opinion and was able to hear them when they said, no, you're not. Look at what you're doing. Look at this. Look at the things you've done. Look at this and look at that. And remind myself, oh man, just because I feel that doesn't mean that I am that. And that's currently something that has been hitting home a lot. And I'm happy to report that I have the right people around me to be able to remind myself of that. And that has been something, yeah, man, it's been something great that pushed through as far as the self-negative talk, because
Remember, we gotta listen to our hearts, not our head, because our head is what gets us in trouble, man.
indeed, and sometimes our hearts gets us in trouble, but for a good reason. Either one. Sometimes we need to be in a little trouble to learn the lesson that we need to learn for that moment too. But I definitely agree with you. I think that in this occasion, in this situation, listening to my head versus my heart was a key feature where that's simple, right? That little bit, that perspective change can be the difference between having a complete shit of a holiday and New Year and all this and other than that, or just take that 35, 45 minutes that it took for me to vent out and let that negative emotions out. Let it out and say it out loud. And it makes me feel better to get it out, to say, I fucked up. I really did. And then somebody to be there.
Because I could kind of agree with you because I used to say, when I say it out loud, I see if I could get that emotional response, like if the body reacts to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like, no, like what are you even talking about? What are you doing?
Exactly.
And then as you say it, like, man, I'm a fucking idiot. Like,
yeah. And it used to be like I'm a fucking idiot, and now it's like, no, that isn't true. That isn't.
no, I was
right,
saying
yeah.
I'm a fucking idiot because I'm believing
Indeed,
something that's not
indeed,
true and
yeah.
I know it. So it's like, man, oh my God,
Eh,
like I'm falling for this.
yeah.
Like, come on,
Indeed,
like
yeah.
God, come on, man.
For sure. But
Tricky.
that's it. That is the aspect that we forget about. That is the
Yeah.
first lie we will always believe in, the one we tell ourselves.
Hmm.
And so if we are able to believe our own lies, we're going to fall for most lies. And that is
Oh,
the power of being truthful
100%.
to ourselves. Because no matter how much people lied to us, if we're true to ourselves, ain't no lie gonna bother us at all because we know our truths. We
Yeah.
know what's actually happening, and that's all it really takes, man.
And
You know.
it's crazy you say that because the majority of my suffering is because I lied to
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Same. Same.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I'd have just been me and just took some of the things and just accepted it for what it was and not personalize it,
Mm-hmm.
man. But I had to go through all those things to get where I'm at right now, so I am not complaining.
Yeah. But
You
in
know.
since we're on that note, what about you? What have been some of the things that you've uh, been struggling this holiday season or this last month that
You
you
know,
know?
obviously we're overseas, you know, we're in Germany, so everybody is not as close.
Mm,
Um, you know, before, you know, on the stateside, my parents were there, or you know, we go visit my wife's sister, and so like this year it's just a little bit lonely, and then you know, I don't have the greatest relationship with my family. I wish it was better, but you know, it is what it is. So as I was thinking about it, you know, thinking about how I wish it was something other than what it is, instead of just accepting it, and we're all fine.
mm,
You know, we're all going through life. We're all fine. We're doing what we need to do. And again, I was making something it just is what it is.
mm,
It won't stay that way forever. For right now, this is how it is. You know, and then I'm getting in the fields. You know, I'm like, damn, it's always been this way. And you know, what if I would have been this different if I didn't do certain things or say certain things, or
mm,
you know, and then I'm just sitting there like, man, like, did I completely create this? And for about 2 3 days, like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be by anybody. I didn't want to be bothered. I just was kind of just relaxing.
mm.
Uh, well, not relaxing, but isolation, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, you know what? Everything I'm going through is what I signed up for. That's my belief. You know,
Mm,
everything that's happening now is what's supposed to happen. And everything so far that has happened in my life has been great. There's ups and downs, but overall it's been amazing.
mm,
So if everything's already been amazing so far, like what well, who am I to question? Like I need to go with it and just accept what it is at this moment
mm,
because it's fine. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we all still love each other. We just don't necessarily communicate and have to be up under each other.
yeah.
And it's funny because I want that, but then when I'm there and it's like that, it's fucking uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, I don't know what to do with this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. We
So
want it
it's
until we get it, and
yeah,
then it's
it's like
like,
it's that catch 22 because then I feel fucking weird, but it's like, ugh.
oh shit.
That's why I laugh, man. Because like as humans, man, we are funny as fuck, man. Like we we have to laugh at ourselves, man, and just understand like we put ourselves through the craziest and wildest emotions and thoughts and experiences, and half the time nothing ever comes of what we that emotion made us believe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I was going through, and then the things I started to do to kind of get myself out of it. And it did help. You know, the people we met when we moved here, they're really good friends, great people. And then Christmas Day, we went over there, went over to their house, and it was nice. It was really nice to just laugh and be around people, but
Mm,
authentically be you. Like you don't have to worry about what you're saying, what you're doing, or
yeah. You didn't
you
have to
know,
drink. You didn't have to go be out there doing the uncomfortable things. You didn't.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I hear that. And that's
it was
important,
nice.
right? Somewhere where
Yeah,
you can feel like you can be yourself and it's celebrated. And you
yeah,
don't have to do X or put up with X to just be. That is a crucial
yeah.
period that we all need. Um, Something that I feel like some of us forget is that we have the power to create that space anywhere we want, right? It's up to us, it's our decision to do otherwise. And we judge the situation, and then we in turn act accordingly based on what we learn to how we should behave on that situation, when in
Yeah.
reality we can behave any way we want in any situation. Now there are consequences based on how we react, but at any point we don't have to, and this is how literal I mean this, right? Where we don't have to be depressed at a funeral. We choose to be depressed at a funeral. We could celebrate life. We could celebrate the fact that the person who was suffering may not be suffering anymore, that the person who has gone through XYZ is no longer have to go through finally a level of peace that we could no longer
Yeah.
comprehend, you
Not
know.
being selfish.
Indeed, there's so many ways. Oh, and in the opposite, we can be completely in totally in hate and turmoil at a beautiful situation like a wedding. You can turn, oh, the lights weren't perfect and the flowers didn't show up the way they needed, and all of a sudden because the uncle was too drunk, or blah blah blah, the whole wedding is $150,000 gone out the window because somebody did something, or somebody said something, or something went
Expectations.
exactly, right? And some that you could just be, wow, all these amazing things about this situation. I'm just grateful that we had it, however crazy it went. However, so our perspective has a lot to weigh in how we experience any situation. And I'm happy to hear that you have those friends that you can feel comfortable being yourself, your authentic self, and was able to just be and remind yourself that no matter where you are in the world, you can feel loved, you are loved, and even though we may want certain things in life, when we actually get those things, we realize maybe that's not exactly what I want. I want the idea of what it is because the TV tells me, and I see everybody else doing the same thing with their families and whatnot. But ultimately, are things okay? Like you said, yeah, things are great with me and my family. And this is temporary that I'm out here. And that's awesome to hear because it reminds me that although things I may not be where I wish they were, they're okay. Like, oh, I didn't have my son with me this Christmas, and I could be
Hmm.
so depressed about that. But rather than that, I'm thankful that I was able to speak to him. I'm thankful that I'm still able to give him his Christmas presents. I'm thankful that he's got a family to be around with, and he's loved, and all these things. And man, those negative thoughts go out the window, and that's truly what helps my mental health throughout these periods, right? Where we think everybody's going to be happy, but some of us are struggling mentally more than we show. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, and I have a pretty good feeling that you're also one of those men that put up the brave face because we're used to being like, well, I have to be the one has to put my feelings to the side and have to handle business and this and that. And it's not that just men do that, because I've seen many women do that as well. But it's just us survivors that we believe that we can take care of others better than we can take care of ourselves, and that is one crazy lie that I've learned to come to learn for myself. But in that sense, how has that shifted for you? The idea of sharing your mental health, having these conversations, how has that changed from your younger years to now, both emotionally and mentally? How is that helping? How has that helped?
I mean, I did it my younger years. I would do it, but I only had one, two people. I had my mom and a person I had known for a while.
Mm.
So I would talk. But obviously, over time, that person they needed to move on, so I could no longer talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just had my mom. But now, for me, it's more the awareness. And as I sit and talk to you, it's honestly a free therapy session. Because
Mm.
for most people that don't know, when you go see a therapist, they ask a few questions, but it's more you talking yourself through the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they have key points or indicators to keep you, either excited or to dig a little deeper, to not provide superficial answers and
Mm-hmm.
maybe get more of an actual answer, an authentic one. But overall, like, this for me, two things. I get those thoughts out,
Mm.
and I have someone else that one is respectfully listening to what I'm trying to explain, providing, you know, their opinion but valuable feedback. Um, and I'm also working on the things that we continue to talk about as I'm doing all those things.
Mm.
For certain questions you ask, I have to apply self awareness. As I'm going through, I have to be mindful. Gratitude is a daily thing I do practice. And my affirmations in the morning, I'm pretty disciplined on the things that I need to do, and I knock those out
Mm.
to make my day feel complete or normal or on track. But sitting down doing all this as well is like another facet of accountability. That does remind me it is working. That does remind me I'm doing better than I thought I was. That does remind me I am disciplined, and a lot of the qualities that I don't give myself credit for kind of revalidated when I'm doing these things and talking and doing the posts and things like that. So
Mm.
it's a constant tending of the garden, right?
Mm.
I'm in my thoughts, clearing my thoughts and analyzing what I'm thinking about, why. The biggest thing that I started realizing that I was doing, and I didn't pay, I never even thought about this till I listened to Ram Dass. It was, I'm doing a task, but I'm not even paying attention to the task I'm doing because I'm on a task I either just finished or I'm on another task that I have to do after this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm never in that actual moment.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I started now just saying I'm gonna get everything done. I don't have to worry about how fast and why and work myself up of the anxiety and the stress of it needs to be done. I'll get it done.
Mm.
Right now, like the other day I was just washing the dishes. I was like, man, this water sure is fucking warm. Oh, look at the bubbles, you know. Oh, look how it got this bowl.
Mm.
Once it got completely clean, it went from something that was dirty to now something that's clean. I created, that's something I did. Like I can see the end product
Mm.
and you put it down. But when you're enjoying, you're in that process of amazement of what you're actually doing. And then you go to the next topic. And it's like you never feel rushed.
Mm.
You never feel overwhelmed. There is no expectations. And you're not like, there's no anxiety or like that pressure of, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've been doing that the last week, and it changes. For me, it's changed a lot because
Mm.
now I'm not. I noticed I would get worked up,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would easily bleed into where now if the kids didn't do something, I'm already on them more than I would be because I'm already kind of at that level of anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta get it done. Like, all right, I'm all over the place instead of in the one spot I need to be. So
Mm.
that's been helping, man. Just the simplest shit, but just being amazed at how I'm doing it, how it feels, how I feel,
Mm.
my thoughts, how I feel about myself, and it's crazy, man. Like, cause it's like if you don't check what you think about, you will think the wildest and craziest shit. Like matter of fact, anybody that's listening, including you, start writing down when you're just sitting there thinking. Just write down the random fucking thoughts you
Thoughts.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah, just write them down. Just write them down for the whole day. And at the end of the day, look at them and look at how many of them just don't make any fucking sense. They're
Mm-hmm.
negative, and it's like that's what we're putting in our brains. Like that's what we're creating. That's what's creating that reality for us.
That's the programming.
So it's like, why would we want to be negative at all? Why would we? Oh, I really hope I get this job. You get the job if you want it. That's how it works. Do
Yeah.
you really want the job? Because if you don't get it, that means you didn't want it
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like that's where it's like you start to realize you can take control. And them thoughts you have and the shit you want to do, now we start visualizing. And we get the emotions with the thoughts, the visualizing, and it all comes together. And before you know it, we are the embodiment of what we saw we were, because that's what we
Mm-hmm.
are. And we're living it.
Yeah.
And it's wild. But since I've been doing that, I was like, man, I think the wild, like when I'm doing mundane tasks, is when I think the craziest shit, man. And I had to sit there and be like, wait, why? Why am I even thinking this? Like this makes no sense, you know.
Yeah.
And it's always a concern, a worry, or a fear.
Mm.
Or matter of fact, it's not that. It's a worry or a desire. Those are the only two that pop in.
Okay.
Worries, which would be a fear or a
Mm.
desire. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
I'm sitting there and it's just like what? But yeah, just you'll be amazed, man, at the stuff that's just running through your head.
It doesn't. It's. I'm trying to figure out a way to best way to put this. Right. You said something that I find funny on how we say things, and you said it's crazy how things change when it's crazier to believe in the crazy shit that we believe in than to believe in the actual truths and realities of things. Right? It's
Hmm.
crazy that we can sit here and argue about certain things about the world when we truly don't know what makes us happy, what makes us, what, all these things we can
Hmm.
debate about time travel, but we have pure evidence of being in the moment transcending time itself. We can sit here and talk about the racism and this and that, but we barely know what to put in our systems to stay healthy. Like, we are jumping from topic to topic when we are barely understanding a topic in general. And
We don't understand ourselves.
exactly, and that for me is the crazy part. What
Mhm.
is normal, what is natural to me now is what you're explaining, that connection of being grateful in the moment, of understanding and really being in tune of how things work, how you are, your connection with people, the universe, this experience, right? And that for me also has been a key thing, where it's also, in a word, crazy to, I can make that, right, that when I was over there in Germany, and you be like, man, I don't know how you like to do the dishes, but I'm glad that you like to do them dishes, because you're here. And so for me, I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'm in the moment. Like everything you described, that's me, right? That's why I can
Mhm.
get that enjoyment out of it. I know that y'all cook, so I do something in return, and all of it, that experience is fulfilling. I can do that on that, but I can't do it, or I can't bring myself to do it when I cook, right? And so if I can do it when I do dishes, why have I convinced myself that I can't do it when I cook? And being being part of your human experience, Ahmad, has shown me proof that if I apply that mentality into cooking, I'm going to get to a place where I'm going to enjoy cooking. And
You'll be a top chef.
right? And here's the kicker, that if I really come to be authentic about the reasons why I keep saying that to myself, is I don't want to like to cook, because that will mean I will be responsible to cook now, not only for myself but for others, and I deep down inside don't want to do that. And that's why unawarely, in a sense, unaware, I say myself these things, or I'm a horrible cook. I don't like to do measurements. I don't like to do this. I don't like to do that. I don't know. This is not me. I will never blah blah blah. And
Being
argue,
lazy.
right? These languages to prove somehow to myself that that isn't something I want to do, because deep down inside there is a level of fear of some sort, of actually having the responsibility of doing that, right? And what that brings, oh, that's just another thing on my plate. Kind of like you guys, Baby Angel and you, Ahmad, with the dishes, right? And now you can see the difference in doing dishes that are not that bad. And yeah, it's another thing, but it doesn't have to be another bad thing in your life. It can actually be a good thing. Now you take your time to do the dishes, and that little period of time, maybe 15 minutes, it could feel like an hour of time for you to explore with the bubbles and be a little child again, and feel thankful, and all these things that now what you used to hate now is something different, and you're learning how
Mhm.
to be again. And that is the excitement that I'm trying to stick with.
Born again.
Born again, indeed. And I go back to that episode all the time of Bluey. Man,
Yeah.
if we can just all just look at things from that perspective. Okay, let's just for a moment say, okay, we are all in the right to feel all the negative shit that we felt. Everybody who wronged us, everybody who did this, all the stuff, you have all the rights. You are right. Let's get past that. Now that we have the past, or you have gotten the right of feeling everything, can we move to the healing portion? What does that look like? Can we step out of the victim aspect of the situation? Can we leave that now and become a new chapter of our lives, and not utilize that negativity to hinder us from evolving to our next selves, to the next reality that we can create for ourselves, right? we are in a bad relationship, we are in such and such doesn't do what I want them to do, my work isn't, my boss isn't, such and such, all these unwants in our lives, these things that are hindering us from being happy and doing the things we want to do. If I just stopped and said, okay, that's enough. What's next? For me, what was next was a book, was traveling the world, was having a better relationship with my kids, was having a really relationship with my friends. That's what happened after I let go of all the pain that I was holding on to. All these things that had happened to me, all this trauma and reasons why I couldn't, and all these negative uh, weights, I finally let go and said, okay, I'm done with that. What's next? And don't get me wrong, I once in a while go back and look at those weights all the time. I once go back and be like, oh yeah, I'm a bad dad. I'm not there. Or I'm a bad friend because I can't be there for everybody the way they need me to be there for them. And blah, blah, blah. I can go back there. But I also now have set people like Ahmad, like my mother, like my friends. I have psychiatrists. All these things set in place, all these healthy boundaries I have set for myself to remind myself that I'm in a different place now, that there is another possibility. And at the end of the day, most things are my choices. Most things that I feel are my choice. And I had to learn how to stop blaming others for how I felt. And I want to hear what you think of that, how I said it like that. Stop blaming others for how we feel. What are your thoughts of that sentence, Ahmad?
I would agree. Uh, that's what a lot of us. I used to do a lot because I didn't felt inadequate. Honestly, didn't
Mm,
felt less than.
mm,
So I would want people to be just as insecure, and I wouldn't purposely. So half the time I didn't realize I was even doing it.
mm,
Um, but I would just do little things to cause the rift or to make the situation or that person want me less.
mm.
Um,
What would that do for you when you did things to make them want you
I
less
I
and then they
felt I
wanted you
didn't
less?
deserve where I was at. I didn't deserve
Ooh.
them. So it was more of a self sabotage thing. Like I'm gonna push them. So when and I'm gonna put like I'm gonna push them away and validate my reasons why I'm doing it
Mm,
and make myself miserable while I'm doing it. So when they finally do it, it doesn't bother me at all because
mm,
I've already suffered and sacrificed for the so many odd years.
mm.
And I, when he said out loud, like, who? Why would you do that? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Why would you do that? But like I said, I felt I didn't deserve it. So
that's
the
why.
way I'm feeling is what I deserve, and
Yeah.
this is what I accept this. You know, and it's kind of like they did back in the day with the Hail Marys, and they was slapping
Yeah.
themselves with whips and shit. That's kind of like, I guess, what I was doing to myself. And that's why I said, like, because I always knew what was right and what was this. I just felt I didn't deserve it.
Mm,
I'm the person that not realizing I could change it with just simple thoughts and
mm.
actions.
Very much
Not
so.
realizing that a big part of it was my attitude stunk.
Mm.
You know, I had a shitty attitude, and the glass was always half empty.
Yeah.
If it could happen, it would happen to me. Like that
Mm,
was the attitude. Like great, you know.
And so it did happen.
Yep. Because that was the reality I believe. So the universe gives you what you ask for. That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful of what you think, how you talk to yourself, what you believe, you know. Even like people talk, they complain, oh, I'm fat, but you're eating a whole pizza as you eat the ice cream and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting what you asked for. You are correct. That's what you want. You're telling the universe, bring it on. Just like me, I was telling them like, oh, this is gonna happen to me, and I'm never gonna get to see my kids, and this is why, and da, da, da. And I'll be damned every time.
Exactly
Soon as shit got,
that.
yep, on clockwork. As soon as shit got good enough, it went right back the way it was. You know why? Because I kept telling myself, shit is too good right now. I don't know. It's gonna get bad, and it gets bad. Like and that's what I'm saying. Like when you really get it,
Hmm.
and you change the vocabulary, and you change your thoughts and beliefs about yourself, about your life, about others. It's a whole new world, man.
Hmm.
And you'll see the abundance. You'll see how amazing it is. And you'll realize, like, fuck, I had the power the whole time. Like, that's the part that blows my mind. Like, it really is easy, man. Like, but it's so easy, people don't believe it. I was one of them. I didn't believe it. Like, yeah, just be happy, think of this, manage your thoughts. Bullshit. You know, like that ain't gonna happen. Like, if it's the worst luck, it's gonna happen to me. Do you know what shit I've done? Oh, I got to pay for this. Ooh, I got to pay, and it's like
And then you bet, why am I paying?
exactly. Then when this shit comes down, it's like, I hate my life. Why is this happening like this? It's always me. Yeah, motherfucker, because you keep doing the same thing, not learning a goddamn thing. You keep asking for the same thing. Your attitude is the same. Like you are not changing anything. And the flashing lights is on. Like they're trying their best to get you to wake up, learn what you need to move to the next.
Hmm.
Not sit there and become a victim and cry about situations you put yourself in.
Yeah.
So like, but guys, be honest. When the attitude changes and you start, attending to the garden and really believing in your worth, what it is to you, what you stand for, like things really do change for you. Now, like DJ was saying, you will there's periods you will revert back, but overall, if as long as you keep the awareness, you keep outlets that allow you to express your emotions and certain things that you do go through, whether it's through writing, journaling. I just happen to make those videos. And then we also talk, amongst each other, but then we also have topics when we talk on this podcast. So all of those things can allow you to work through what it is you're going through.
Hmm.
But the key is you have to believe and have faith that what you're doing is beneficial for you.
Hmm.
Because if you don't believe it, then you're sending the universe mixed messages.
Hmm.
So one day or 2, 3 days, maybe a week, it's great, and then it goes to shit again. And if you're not aware that it's your vibration and your emotions and thoughts that's creating that yin and yang thing, then you're not going to believe it because you're like, this is how it's always been. Here we go again. Not realizing and not understanding, you have to be accountable for your thoughts and your emotions, what you feel and what you want. So when you can sit there and do it and say, cool, I'm good. I don't want to think that. And you can move through it and understand what the reality really is. The game changes.
Hmm.
The game changes, man.
No, it's I was just talking about that same point with my mother about how when I was at my worst, the doctors, psychiatrists, and all these people were just like, man, just fucking go outside. Just go outside, sit on some grass, hug some fucking trees. Just go do that. Don't do nothing else. Just go do that and see what that does for you. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm paying you this fucking much money and you're telling me go fucking walk outside, guy? Like, you're the government sitting here with their fist up my asshole and you're telling me go hug a tree. You're sitting here telling me to go sit in the grass while I'm getting pumped 14 different medications with shots and shit up my every freaking orifice of my body, and you think going outside and getting some sun rays is gonna fix things? Get out of here. And I would run to my dungeon in the complete darkness and put that depressive ass music and think, see, this is why I hate the world. This is why shit will never fucking change. And everybody's just crazy. Nobody believes in me. Nobody understands me. And I just create this wonderful web of depressive anger, darkness shit. And I would just stay in there and get nice and cocooned in that. And here I am, maybe 6-7 years later, and I'm like, hey guys, go outside and hug a tree. It will change your fucking life. Just sit outside and get some fucking sun. Yeah. Just start there. And I'm telling you, things will change. Truth, it really fucking is. But it wasn't the truth until I made the conscious decision to accept it as the truth. Yeah. Believe it. It is true. Yeah. Because no matter how much I sat outside, and I would sit outside like this is bullshit, this is not going to work, this doesn't work, this sucks, this blah, 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 blah. Then I would go inside and be like, well, see, that didn't work. Well, of course it didn't work. I was out there, making reasons why it didn't work, making facts of why it didn't work. And when I did the opposite, things changed.
But then don't you find it funny too though? At times we don't want it to work either.
Yes,
we were comfortable with how we can complain. Like it's nice to fucking complain and just be like Oscar the Grouch, just,
Yeah, I got comfortable with that. I got to a point, and I'm comfortable being honest about this, that I enjoyed people feeling bad for myself. Because I believed that so many people did not like me for who I was. People never could love me for who I was. And so when people showed me some sort of love when they felt bad for me, I took it. And I loved it. Because I didn't know how to take love anywhere else or any other way. And so the only way...
You just wanted the pity.
That's it. And so I misunderstood love for pity and vice versa. And then I wondered, well, why can't people understand that I'm loving them? Because I wasn't showing them love. I was showing them pity. Because that's how I understood love and pity. And then, it made sense for me why things were happening into my life the way they were happening. I started to understand the connections between how I say things, I experience things that way. And if I am experience things a certain way, there's going to be emotions that come out of that experience based on that, right? And the best way I can explain that is video games right now. When we're winning, no matter what game it is, we're going to have a great fucking time. The game is the best game ever. Whatever graphics, it don't matter. We were having a good time. As long as the success, whatever our idea of success is happening, we're like, fuck yeah, this is the shit. At the moment we have the struggle, we're starting to lose. People are not coming together. This is the worst game ever. Why did I do this? Like, you start cursing the game, the world, and this and that. And it's the same shit. It's just the only difference is the experience has changed that much different. that little bit different. And because of that little difference of winning versus losing or fun versus unfun, when we create all these negative emotions that drive us into breaking our $200 controllers, punching the walls, yelling at our significant others, yelling at our kids, all of these things simply because we're losing at a game when we were just having a good time winning at that same fucking game. That is wild to me, that we can have that roller coaster of emotion and not see how all of these things are correlated, how they're connected. And if they're connected in a negative way, how can we connect them in a positive way in our lives? And I like how you were saying about how you connect them in your way, as far as hearing now, understanding the difference of what you think you are versus what you actually are, versus that, like being a parent, a significant other, and knowing that you deserve good things, right? The difference now is like, no, I deserve a good relationship, and I deserve to be a good partner. And how taking the introspective time to say, how can I be the best partner to whoever it is? And that takes a lot of guts, man, because most of us are quick to be like, well, they need to change this and they need to be that and da 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 da, without really thinking about, okay, what is my part in this? How can I change first and see how that changes the situation? And if that doesn't change the situation, then maybe, just maybe, it isn't to me. But you taking the time to ask yourself that first, how does that feel, or what does that take for you to do that, or took for you to do that, to pause and say, let me look at myself first before I start pointing fingers at my partner?
I mean, because if you have some of the similar situations, and everybody's different in the situation, but there's only one common denominator, right? So if there's 3 or 4 different people and similar situations and all, I, probably me, right? Or there's something that I'm doing that is creating this, and I know that I'm doing it because it's worked, because this is now the 4th time. So I know it's effective. It's a psyop, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I was doing it on myself in the relationship because I didn't feel worthy, or I deserve those things in my life. And a lot of it, be honest, I was terrified to really actually accept somebody fully. Unconditional love, man, that is
That's a
scares
commitment.
the shit out of me. Honestly.
It's a fucking
Well, it
lifetime
just scares.
commitment.
It's well, unconditional. Yeah, it's you respecting and caring for someone regardless, like just liking them for who they are and what's going on. So
Yeah. Perfect timing.
yeah,
Perfect timing. Practice what we preach.
yeah. So it's like it it's all I can say is, man, when you start realizing like you're in your own way, it's very liberating. Um, it's very liberating. But ask again, because with her coming in, it broke my concentration.
It's
So
okay.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really
No, I
know.
kind of figured it. That's why I made a little joke to kind of ease the tension. But no, that the question basically relies as far as you're talking about the self-sabotaging in the
Yeah,
relationships, and now realizing the freedom that comes from, like you said, you're standing in your own way, and that opening up so many ways or opportunities for you to find happiness, peace, or whatever it is that you're looking for. but more in line as far as relationship goes, where how learning to accept yourself eased or made better, how did it affect you learning to accept your partner in the relationship, right? So,
I would say the first thing that you have to do is accept yourself.
mm,
I hadn't accepted myself in any of these relationships.
mm,
So how could I be even in a position to accept them?
mm-hmm,
And that's where the biggest problem was.
yeah,
I couldn't accept me, therefore I didn't feel I deserved them, which in turn means I'm resenting them because I feel they're better than me, and therefore I don't want them either because they don't want me. So I might as well just do this. So when they end up
mm,
going anyway, I deserved it, and I'm so numb to feeling this way. It's not gonna bother me if they stay or go anyway.
mm-hmm,
Um, so that was the biggest issue, like uh, not accepting myself. If I would have accepted myself, it would have been a hell of a lot easier to accept them. And the thing is the shit that you don't accept after that is just establishing a boundary,
mm,
but you're still gonna have to be in some sort of servitude with them or being
mm,
submissive at some point to what that other person may need at particular times, even though you may not want to, right? And when someone would do that for me and I wasn't willing to do that for them, then I would feel bad about myself. Like, and they, it was just a vicious cycle, man. Like, and it was all honestly just fear driven
mm,
of not deserving love because I didn't love myself. There was nothing about me that I valued.
mm,
So, um, and now that I obviously know that, and I'm going through a lot of these situations, I am seeing how important it is to have a good friendship with the person you're with to have a lasting relationship.
mm.
Because if you don't have the friendship, then you really don't have anything.
Most definitely, and that can also be included within yourself, right? If you don't have a good relationship within yourself, how are you going to have a good
Correct.
relationship with
Correct.
anybody
Yeah,
else?
because
You know?
everything starts with us.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
within, so without, so above, so
Correct.
below, same
Yep.
instance. No, I
A
totally
hundred
agree.
percent.
And that
Yeah.
you made a good point on that of like, acceptance yourself and helps you accept other people, especially in the things and, that insecurity before versus now. And for me, I can definitely relate to that in previous relationships. I could easily I couldn't understand how my partner was insecure about themselves, and I did not see the flaws that they saw within themselves. But when it came to the opposite and my insecurities, and they're like, "Oh, I don't care about those insecurities." I'm like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
whatever. I know that's all you see. I know that's all you care about. I know that's you know what I mean." And it's like, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that definitely all those things go away when the self talk changes, when the self conversation changes. The conversations with those people around us also change for the better. I completely agree and have experienced that myself also, which that is something that I encourage people, right? That is the first encouragement. It's like, let's change the conversation that we have within ourselves. And most people want to talk about the things that has been going on with them, that is the things that all the negativity that is happening to them, they want to yell it at the top of the mountains for everybody to hear, and everybody must hear it to be able to feel entitled in the feelings that we want to be in, right? And it takes
Hmm.
a lot of strength to be like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm ready to have a healing conversation. I'm ready to listen to all the things that more than likely are going to make me bad, because those are the things that I don't want to do, that I know that are going to help me. Go out, get some sun, hug a tree, talk to a friend, and a real friend, talk to a professional, take the medications that you need to take, eat the right things, the healthy things, get the right amount of sleep that we need, all those things. Right? Forgive ourselves, forgive those who have wronged us. I mean, all these steps are requirements that lead us, but not but and they all need to be taken. Not one step is the first step, not one is the last. They can all be taken at different times, at different steps, and it is up to you to decide how to go through them. But at the end of the day, most of us have to go through all those steps to be fully free, to fully be accept what it is, right? And you have gone through it, you could still go through it, and that's why we're having these conversations.
It's a daily thing.
It is.
You may not do all of them every day, but you're going to do bits and pieces of them throughout the day. So for sure, it's a practice that needs to be done. But it also needs, it's a practice that you should be excited to do, because you get to learn more about yourself. Each thing that I kind of work through, or I start to understand and overstand, there's a little bit more confidence and excitement, in the life, where it's like, I'm on the right track and it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
And all these things we're talking, and all these things that we want, and all the shit we didn't think was feasible or even possible, it is possible. It's here. It's abundantly here. And it's already hit. We're just waiting until we are in the right vibration to align with what's already waiting. So
we are in no shortage of anything. And if there's a shortage of something, we are creators and create more of the abundance that we already have. We have all the building blocks for everything. And most of the knowledge that we require to rebuild with the building blocks that we have it. All it requires is a adventurous mind, a courageous will, and a believing attitude. And with those combination of tools, truly we are the creators of our experiences here. And I hope that we have created a wonderful 2024. I hope that we have learned something great this year that will take on to 2025 and make our following year that much better. And know that I, for one, am thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful that Ahmad Jermaine is able to be here, and all of you guys out there to be here to experience this and this type of conversations within your own lives, because this is the glue, in my opinion, that continues to save us mentally and emotionally in our communities. These conversations, these type of people that we can have authentic dialogues where we can explore ourselves and each other and learn something new at the very end, appreciate the fact that although different, we all experience and feel similar things. And I'm excited for 2025, man. We will be doing some live streaming on February. You will see Ahmad and myself, Inky Boy from Thailand. We will be doing one of these podcasts live from more than likely Phuket, Thailand. And it's going to be, we're going to have a wonderful, amazing background. And you'll hear this type of conversation then. And I hope that you continue to put things in your life for you to enjoy what this world has to offer, whether that's another state, down the street, across the world, whatever it may be. Go out, explore, learn something new, experience something new, because, in my opinion, that's what this life's about. Experiences, my friends.
Yes, it is.
So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited.
I am
I,
too.
I'm definitely coming back to Germany as well, and I just learned I can go to Guam from Washington State, take a Mac flight. So I haven't been to Guam yet, and I think I might just go check it out, stay on base, and kind of like drive out the island. I love Chamorro food. That's the locals believe call themselves Chamorros, and
Yes, they're tomorrow.
yeah, Chamorro, right? Yeah, the Chamorro
Yeah,
Grill. Remember
right.
that spot over in Cali, boy? Oh my God, I'm so stoked for that. So, a lot of great things coming up for all of us here, and we would love to hear from you as well. So, if you want to participate in the podcast, you want to discuss a certain topic in the podcast, but you don't want to be part of it, and you want us to discuss it, feel free to join the Discord and put your questions in there or email us. If you are continue to look for inspirational posts and things in that nature, please feel free to join the Manan Affiliates YouTube account. Ahmad over here has been doing a tremendous job of keeping up with the videos, and they are gold, my friends. They're helping not only himself, but us as business partners, as friends. They're helping our friends, they're helping our families, and we are sharing it for free with all of you guys. We are happy to be doing this. A lot more things coming up in 25 that I'm not going to speak on yet, but very excited for both of us. And yeah, thank you for the great holidays as well. Overall, people came through, have been coming through. And Ahmad, is there anything else that you wanted to chat about before we check it out?
I hope everybody continues to connect with people and not just waiting until holidays. If you can continue to connect, maybe call once, twice a month, and maybe see them once, twice a year. And then the other thing would be, yeah, 2025, man. It's going to be an amazing time. And continue to believe things will be better. It's going to get better. We're on our way, all of us. Things are changing.
Indeed.
So before I get you out of here, I want you to live the 3 L's. So lead with love, take time to laugh, and never stop learning.
Amen. Thank you so much for that. Brother,
Never
it's
stop learning.
always a great time. It's always a learning experience having this conversation. And you said the connection with people, don't wait for the holidays. I
Yeah.
love that, man. Something that really costs very little, and that is a handwritten letter. That is a picture, hand drawn picture, even if it's a stick.
Sometimes
You know what I'm saying? Like a little stick figure saying, "Hey, I love you," something like that. That takes very little time to do.
text, a phone call, just
Anything,
time. That's all it is,
indeed,
man. Yeah.
indeed, any of that works.
It's just time, man.
And I appreciate all of those who do that for me, and I am appreciative that I can do that for others as well. So,
Yeah.
thank you very
It's just-
much for that, Ahmad. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Hell yeah, man. So on that note, we out of here. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you next Friday. Elevated Wisdom.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh, that's right. We won't be until next year. We out.
Thank you for joining us, and have a good night. Lead with love, take time to laugh, and never stop learning. Thank you for joining us and have a good night. Lead with love, take time to laugh, and never stop learning. Thank you for joining us and have a good night. Lead with love, take time to laugh, and never stop learning.